Hi, I'm Ashley and welcome to W Daily. Today we have a really special guest. She's a licensed social worker, master trainer, and transformational leader. And as a success coach and empowerment speaker, she's committed to helping others achieve their personal and professional goals. We have Dr. Jessica Houston. So, Dr. Houston, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, tell us your story. How did you get into being a success coach and empowerment speaker?
I actually was in the field of social work for over 10 years, and I started feeling an urge to kind of do something else. I knew I was called to do something more, but I just wasn't sure what it was. And then it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. I woke up and I got the title for my book, Women's Secrets.
Right.
It's Time to Stop Suffering in Silence. And I knew at that point it was time to stop running, because I kind of had a feeling that I was supposed to share my story with more people. But at that time, I had already gotten my doctorate degree. I was already a licensed social worker, married, leadership position, and I just was not feeling like I was ready to share some of the struggles that I endured, because so many people thought that I just had it all together, no struggles, you know, life was easy, life was great. But I got the title for my book, Women's Secrets, It's Time to Stop Suffering in Silence. And from there, once my book was released, I started getting called to speak. And once I started speaking, my business picked up, and people wanted me to show them how I actually did what I was able to do.
Right.
And so that's when the coaching came in.
So what has been one of the main struggles that you face, like with your business or during writing your book?
What I had to do was actually first do a lot of research on my area of expertise and narrow it down, because when you're a creative like I am, you kind of can be all over the place. And so I actually had to invest in a coach, in a business coach, to help me and guide me.
So you got a coach to help you start your... Okay.
Yes. So I started doing some things and I was speaking, but when you are not really sure of, you know, what you're supposed to be doing and how you're supposed to be doing it and what you're supposed to be charging, you know, you will be just serving people and not making any money.
So how did you mentioned you were doing a lot of free engagements at first. So how did you get to the point where were you like charging less than you should have been charging, and how did you get to the point where you are now, where you know exactly, you know, how much to charge?
Yes, so initially I was just excited to be offered to speak. So for me, I was still working. I worked for 3 years before I even stepped out into doing my business full time, which I recommend to anyone who wants to start a business. Never just jump out there unless you have a lot of money saved up.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just working full time, so I didn't necessarily have to get paid for speaking, but I realized that, okay, if you want to do this full time, you have to actually build your business in a way that you are able to generate profits. So if someone said, hey, I need you to come and speak here, I would just come. I did have books, so I was able to sell books, but that was nowhere near what I should have been charging to speak. So after having a coach and just taking courses and actually just watching other speakers and connecting with other speakers, I was able to actually begin.
So I know you have workshops about unleashing your happiness and breaking the pattern of mediocrity. Do you ever find yourself struggling with being unhappy or feeling less than?
So for me, I have gone through depression several times in my life, and so now I've gotten to the point where if I feel like I'm feeling sad or down, I know that it's time for me to either take a break, get some rest, or it's time for me to listen to something inspirational, whether it be music, a sermon. Maybe I need to read something inspirational, but there is something missing that I need to really pay attention to.
Okay. So just going within yourself, like, what do I need?
Yes. There's a deep-rooted reason when you start to to feel sad.
What's something that you find your women clients struggling with the most?
There are several things. One is doubting themselves. And then another issue is guilt, especially moms. I'm a mom, and when they want to do something for themselves, they feel like maybe I should just wait until my kids are grown, you know. Maybe it's selfish of me to pursue my dream right now.
So you mentioned that you were in an abusive relationship in the past. What are some steps that you took to get yourself out of that situation?
One of the things that I believe we have to do first is to start to love ourselves. You know, even with the young ladies that I mentor, a lot of them are in the same situations. And it all goes back to, how do I feel about myself? Not just saying I love myself, but how do I show it? How do I allow people to treat me? And you know when someone is not treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. But sometimes, because in your mind, if you think, well, if we break up, I'm going to be all alone, and so why don't I just stay here? At least he pays me some attention. At least he takes me out sometime. But I think if you just start first with loving yourself and recognizing that you deserve someone to treat you like the queen that you are, that's the first step. When you start to love yourself and you realize how valuable you are, how beautiful you are, that's when you can get the courage to put some space in between you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Houston, for joining us today.
I enjoyed myself.
Yes, I did too. You have some really great insight and advice.
Awesome.
And thank you so much for joining us here at W Daily. Tune in next time for another great show.